I didn't print it out because it's a whole bunch of papers, but I just got started in my word study, and we want to start with the word authentic and find out where that came from, what it means, and how it applies to our life. So we're going to do authentic, and then I guess next week we'll do communication. But if someone wants to read some of this, but these are some of the basics. This is the Greek part of it. The short definitions are true, real, or genuine, made of truth. And then it goes in here with a couple of different word studies of the root word, which I won't attempt to read to you. An objective derived from the other adjective of the same root. True to fact. True, real, emphasizing the real connection. Authentic unity between what is true and its source of origin. I thought that was pretty good. Refers to what is essentially true, connecting the visible fact to its underlying reality. Then emphasizes the integrity of what is true down to its inner makeup. So let's talk about what that means. What does that mean? What do you hear when I say that? How's that applicable in your life today? Not all of this stuff, just this right here. Refers to what is essentially true, connecting visible fact to its underlying reality. Then emphasizes the integrity of what is true, down to its inner makeup, reality, true inside and out. Anyone?
I think it just sounds like the conversations we have, like you think it just is visible to its underlying reality, like we see something on somebody, so we call them on it to get to the inner makeup.
So, Tony Robbins used this example of the salt. The kid was saying he couldn't find the salt. Well, that wasn't true, was it?
No.
Couldn't see the salt, he said.
It's essentially true.
Yeah, essentially, when I look up in the mirror, I stand up and I say, describe what you see. Whatever you say is essentially true. But is it true to the core, inside and out? So what you said in the office, and I won't say what you said, but the way in which you felt about that particular situation, was that true? But man, it sure was controlling you like it was, wasn't it? So would you say it's kind of important to know what is true inside and out before we allow our thoughts to dictate our reality? Thought, emotion, reality. So it's huge. These are some things that you can sit on and just really think about them and use them and apply them with everything in your life. So, after I looked at the Greek real quick, then I went deep. And started on this crazy journey. So someone want to read? Eric, you want to read some?
Yeah, I'll read it. Emmett, truth. When I studied philosophy in graduate school, I took some courses in epistemology, or the theory of knowledge. These courses would discuss things like what can we know, what is truth, and the like. In the Greek Western conception, truth, I can't read that, is a property generally ascribed to linguistic states. A proposition P is true if and only if P obtains the empirical observable word. That's better. Say that again. A proposition P is true if and only if P obtains in the world. Empirical observable. It's interesting. That is, truth has to do with some sort of correspondence between our thinking, as expressed by language, and states of affairs in the world. Truth has to do with some sort of correspondence between our thinking, states. Okay. And to some degree, this is surely correct. When we affirm that something is true, we mean that the description we are trying to convey through our language obtains not only for ourselves, but for others who use the language in a public way. Language, then, is not a subjective interpretation, but a means of communicating about reality. The so-called Greek conception of truth is a static property that pertains to propositions inevitably led to metaphysical speculations about essences and universals as something more real than everyday world of particular cats, trees, and water lilies. This perspective found its ultimate expression in Platonism of various kinds. Appearance and reality are two different things, and only by means of abstraction from the particular to the universal can the truth about ultimate reality be known. Philosophers have finessed these ideas over the centuries, but in our postmodern age have largely abandoned the idea that there is an objective truth that is uncolored by the bias of the interpreter. Cynically, all truth claims are on par epistemologically, since knowledge, being traditionally understood as justified true belief, is never entirely justified, since it always has a subtext that disguises the motive for power. Nor true, since the appeal to truth is little more than the rationalization of one's interest, and perhaps does not even constitute a belief, since belief is largely an unconscious matter that is not shaped by rational endeavor. This progression can be seen coming from Immanuel Kant, 1724 to 1804, that blossomed into the ruminations of Ludwig Wittgenstein, 1891-1951, and the deconstruction of Michael Foucault, 1926-1984.
All right, so stop for a minute. Let's talk about what that means. So you say, eh. You don't know what that means?
No, it was just lots of complex words being used.
The so-called Greek conception of truth as a static property that pertains to propositions inevitably led to the metaphysicals about. That's the whole, we fix things, we define things with our filters, which would be the lie. That's what I see there. Words change, as you grow, as you change, as your filters change. Nothing is static. Everything is in motion. Everything is in nature. So we take that and we try to tie them together, and they don't tie together. The abstract and the filter, the visible world and what we see it. So I was saying earlier, the observed is the observer. The analyzed is the analyzer.
Right.
what I see and what you see, we could both see this bottle, but we don't see the same exact thing.
Right, it goes back to the true mirror,
Yeah,
in a sense.
yeah.
You know, we all see life from a different angle. The problem is just because we see it or don't see it does not make it true or untrue. And
Yeah,
go ahead.
this is good right here. Since the appeal
It's me,
to truth is little more than the rationalization of one's interest. I mean, so, you know, it goes to what Jake's saying, you know, about the filters, you know, and what could be truth to me ain't truth to you necessarily, you know, so then it comes, how do you know what is truth?
I like what it follows up with too. It says, and perhaps does not even constitute a belief, since belief is largely an unconscious matter that is not shaped by rational endeavor. So basically saying, like, from what I'm hearing out of this, is that we like to confuse what we perceive through our motive for power or rationalization of our interest and what in our mind than what's actually real. Like what's real.
What's true? What's
legitimate.
truth
Mhm.
versus belief? So you see that? So we all listen to the same message on Saturday. And what we do not have the power to receive the truth out of it. Yet each one of us may walk away from there spouting and acting like we know the truth. Because it was said from a person who was placed up here, and then we heard it with these ears, and then we saw it with our eyes, but it can't be the truth. That's what this is saying.
Since the appeal to truth is a little more than the rationalization of one's interest. It's only truth if you kind of like it, I guess you could say it like that.
Pretty much.
I don't know.
Think about everything you've ever considered
Or
true.
how much you're willing to allow that truth to affect you.
Yeah. Smash those filters and.
Right. I mean, you can sit in my office and I can say the greatest things in the world, but if you walk out continuing to spew the story, the lie that you have before, then you did not receive the truth. I didn't shatter anything.
Yeah.
Because that's how sick the story is. That's how sick the lie is. So, and it's going to move on here. We're going to move on into it, into the difference of being and doing. But I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. No one's getting lost based on what this is saying. Do you have a general understanding? Do you,
Yeah.
Ralphie?
Yeah, what you guys are saying is the difference between what an individual sees to be true versus what is actually happening. Hence the perspective that you can get, like what he just said. Somebody can look at something or see something, have a completely different or similar conclusion as far as to what the truth in that is.
So is your perspective true?
Is my perspective true?
Yeah, your angle from your perspective of whatever. Is it true? Is it truth?
I mean, I don't know.
Anyone else?
I would go with no. It would be belief. It would be based on everything up until that point.
But then what if, like, you have that, but if you, like, actually get, like, some truth from, whoever, and then you have that,
Yeah, his question is it true to you?
No, I didn't say true to you. I said, is it truth? Eric, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it all depends on, what position you're in based on what filter. I mean, similarly, kind of what Jake's saying, your history and all these different things changes your perception. But, if you haven't been applying biblical principles and you don't have the correct filter, then you're not going to see the correct message. What I'm thinking when I read this stuff is about, one of the things that keeps coming up is, we're in different seasons in our walk, and, it's like you could watch one teaching and you can get multiple messages out depending on where you're at. So I don't know, this is kind of...
All right, so here's the question. Is your perspective in your current position, what you see, what you hear, is it truth?
I would say, yeah, that's true, because it's happening. It's happening to you.
It's yes and no. It's a trick question. The answer is yes and no. We're not in control of it. We do not control truth. It's not. We don't have the power. It wasn't given to us.
That's pretty good. Truth.
All right, so let's move on to this next. Someone else want to take a chance at these big old words?
Yeah, I'll read. The Hebraic conception of truth, while not denying the importance of correspondence, seems to have a different focus. The Greek concept of truth as a static property that pertains to propositions inevitably led to metaphysical speculations about essences and universals. The Hebrew mind, on the other hand, seemed more focused on the dynamic, the changing, and the idea that truth involved the formation of the character of the person and the restoration of the world, especially in relation to God, to whom the Jew must give account. The nature of truth becomes grounded in the moments of decision encountered in one's life. Shall I steal? Shall I turn a blind eye to a social injustice, etc.?
That's a whole meat-filled paragraph.
Okay. So what's it say?
Going back to the...
So that...
You go, Eric.
That's fire right there. Basically, what that says, truth is a static property. When it talks about the proposition inevitably led to, especially about essences and universals, that's getting into static property, absolutes, and truth. There's only one truth in something, versus the Hebrew mind focused on a more dynamic changing. Truth involved the formation of the character of the person. The idea that truth involved the formation of the character of the person and the restoration of the world. To me, that's fire, man.
That's
I've never
boom.
heard of truth being
Kaboom.
called.
Hashtag boom.
That's it.
That's huge.
The nature of truth becomes grounded in the moments of decision encountered in one's life. It's not static.
Right.
It's moving. It's the
Constantly.
Xinjiang or whatever he calls it.
It'd be like saying, I'm always authentic.
Yeah.
Can't be.
There's only one truth, and it's right now.
Right. And it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, some good stuff there. All right. Well, we're going to move into some more mind-blowing things here. Next. You want to keep reading? Whatever.
I'll keep reading. The seal of truth. The Jewish sages sometimes say the seal of God is truth, since the final letters of the three words that conclude the account of creation, Bara Elohim Lahasat, God created to do, Genesis 2:3, Go down. Keep reading.
Read the Hebrew.
You didn't read that, dude, and you can start reading there, you
I
know.
know.
You know, dude, just because you're trying to get me to skip over it real quick.
Oh, no, that's not what I was. In other words, God created reality to do lahasat, which has come to be interpreted by the sages as meaning that it is our responsibility as God's creatures to complete the doing of His creation. Tikkun Olam. Truth is about doing, not being.
All right, so stop right there. It's so meaty. I mean, this should be blowing your mind.
So what's the verse where he says, you know, worship me in spirit and in truth? And then when I look at this, like that all connects together. That's deep, man. That's deep, boy. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Man, you know, I just got
Good, dude.
I got a word, bro. I'm a Holy Spirit.
That's right, man. That's good. I like it where, you know, it says, I think it's that, right? Truth is about doing, not being, right?
Well, it's the completion. It's the seal of truth. So God created to do. So it's the beginning and the end of what truth is. Just like there's a beginning and the end of everything. So let's get into the whole... Note that the seal of God is not just a manner of sincerity. Right? So just because I tell you, have a nice day, or I love you, the seal of God is not based on sincerity. It is rather a matter of being true in the sense that you are living it. You are being with it. You are part of it. You exist inside this truth as a passion, and this truth informs all of the decisions you make in life. Did you hear that? Let me read that to you again. You exist inside this truth as a passion, and this truth informs all of the decisions you make in life.
Yeah, everything you do has a motive, and the motive is based on all them filters, and you can't do anything without some filter.
Right, until you get into the right position, which is that oneness with God.
Yeah.
And
That's existing inside this truth, right? Exist inside this truth.
yeah, that's oneness
So
with God.
you can't exist if you're not inside the truth.
And then that truth burns inside of you as a passion, and it tells everything else, every decision that you make, what to do. See, we're having a breakthrough here. What do we do to start a breakthrough?
Yeah!
Yeah, pump it up, whatever, because we got to get outside of wherever we are, so that we can now get into this place where we can be molded and shaped, because it's coming from inside of us that produces the results. It's not us. It's Him in us. So, okay, you therefore embody the truth and follow it in all your endeavors. So that if we were to go back up to the Greek, go back to that little paragraph, inside and out. We embody the truth. It's authentic is something that is true inside and out. It embodies it. It can't be one or the other. It just is. That's what that means. In this sense, Yeshua, the Mashiach, how do you say
Mashiach.
it? Mashiach is the truth. Since in him there was no mismatch between who he is, what he and what he said. He is utterly trustworthy. His actions and speech are one and are entirely reliable. Jesus, Yeshua, is the seal of God. The one who authoritatively named names of all creation. Authoritatively? Names of all creation. And his followers likewise should evidence this in their lives. So, based on what you know to be true, based on your experience and where you came in from, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit are one. Not three separate entities. There are one. And when placed in order from creation to doing, it is the seal of God. Do you understand me? So when we, let's break this down. When we are in the correct position, and we are living based on, or we're existing based on this truth that is inside of us, and we are acting in obedience because of the passion, and it is moving us, it is affecting us, it is telling us the decisions that we make. Then at that very moment in time, we are a physical representation of the seal of God. But see, you don't have the power to be the seal of God. You don't have the power to be the truth, to know the truth. You need something authentic. So he goes on, truth encompasses all. In the Hebrew, the word for truth, emet, contains the first, middle, and last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, indicating that truth encompasses all things and endures from the beginning to the end.
Emet or Emet?
I I can't tell. Emet. It's a emet. But notice that if we remove a letter from the word, we are left with the word dead, i.e. met, the opposite of life, i.e. whatever that says. Karim! Hey, don't tell me what to do, bro.
I didn't tell you what
I'll
to do.
bust you right in the mouth.
Oh yeah?
So, the letter, why don't you tell me how to say that too?
Aleph.
I just said
It's Aleph in
that's
the
what-
left.
Alex. Alex is sitting right here, bro.
I was
Aleph.
trying to tell you.
Aleph
Aleph, where do we think
is
we get
the
alphabet?
infallible letter that represents oneness and preeminent glory of God. Preeminent glory of God. Therefore, if we attempt to ignore or suppress God in our understanding of truth, we end up with death.
In our understanding of truth.
Correct. That's-
You skipped that. That's a big part of that.
I skipped it? I didn't say that?
You didn't say are.
Suppress God in
our.
our understanding of truth.
We end up with our understanding of truth.
Yeah.
We end up with death.
Well, when we attempt to ignore or suppress anything, are we not leaving out God? Are we not playing God?
That's what I mean by our
Yeah.
understanding. You're still in
Youville, Meville,
the previous beliefs.
at me party. And since Yeshua told us, I am the way, the truth, and the life, no one comes to the Father apart from me, those who deny his reality are in a state of spiritual death. We simply cannot know the meaning of life apart from the person and glory of Yeshua. Physical representation. That's who Yeshua was. A physical representation of God. Anyone want to say anything about that? This next thing is good. Since truth is all-encompassing, there is always a place for it to be practiced. There is literally no place or experience that is exempted from its presence. And therefore, there is always the demand to live in its light. Indeed, God himself is called the Spirit of Truth.
Truth's only, it's only right now, which is always right now, so
It's never static.
it's not exempted from its presence. That is exempted from it, yeah. It's not fixed. It's
Right.
constantly changing, flowing, be the water.
Move, when you get into that place, it's easier to go with the water than it is to try and create your own stream. When you're there.
So what I'm kind of going through this, reading it, it's like, this is almost saying that, truth isn't necessarily right or wrong. Truth is living in the moment right now.
Right or wrong or filters.
Right. And so, a lot of times we think truth is right, and so, as I look at this, that's really what's popping out to me is that, sometimes I've been looking at truth from a different perspective, and it's not actually truth because I'm applying a filter to it instead of being authentic and receiving the spiritual truth. I don't know how to really convey that message. I guess it's more trying to figure it out, trying to overanalyze things instead of allowing it to just come naturally. If that makes any sense?
Oh yeah, that's the water.
That's how it comes.
Yeah, that's it. Because truth is neither right nor wrong.
That's the static Greek. The truth is.
But look,
and it's
see,
always-
look at this though. This is it. Since truth is all encompassing, there is always a place for it to be practiced.
Right.
That, to me, that's really key right there. It says truth is to be practiced. That kind of jumps out at me.
It's because we are, you're not God. You're just made in the image of God. And so, because we are not God, we cannot be truth. We can simply practice it. By what? By applying it to our life for restoration.
So since truth is all encompassing, there is always a place for it to be practiced. There's literally no place or experience that exempt from it. So that's the just be thing. See everything for what it is without judgment. Accept it exactly for what it is.
Thanks.
Then you're in that be state, which is the practice
Right.
portion of it. That's how I received that. So,
What were they saying about embodying truth? Like you can't, the seal of God thing, but like when that confused me. Because now I had something written down, but now it's all like
What? Back up here where it says embody?
embodying truth, the seal of God and all that.
Yeah, so you
Action on
therefore
obedience.
embody the truth and follow it in all your
By action on
endeavors.
obedience is to embody
Correct.
truth and be authentic.
When you are in position,
Yeah, you have to be in position.
then you can be authentic and you can just be,
Yeah.
because what is coming through you is passion and it's informing all your decisions on what you're going to do. It informs what you do. You don't inform it.
And you can't be authentic outside of that.
Correct.
So that is authenticity. It's like connected, walking out in obedience.
So I take the whole the truth informs. The truth is nothing to do with right or wrong. It's just it is what it is. So it informs all the decisions you make. You think getting defensive is wrong, but it's still the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the authentic. You think doing this, acting this certain way when you feel attacked based on some old filter is wrong, so therefore it can't be the truth. But really the only thing that will set you free of the defensive mode is accepting that that is the truth that you're currently in. The defensive mode. Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So you can, I'm good, all you want. All you're doing is feeding yourself those little lies about the salt until you just believe it, and then before you know it, kicking the teeth, and it's a heck of a lot worse than,
But it's denying the truth.
Truth.
Right. Well, you're
Yeah.
and you're denying God.
Yeah. you're denying yourself on
Yourself.
what you are. How can the truth be in?
You were created in
The
the image
lie,
of God.
if he is
So if
the
you
truth.
deny yourself,
Yeah.
you deny God.
But that's like what we were watching with Tony Robbins, that, you know, the lies that we've told ourselves, and it's like that circle you're talking about. If we don't see it for what it is, then you're not going to break the circle. You're still going to keep going round and round and round, and you're basically doing spiritual death. You're not going to get anywhere because you're denying the truth. And as this points out, that Yeshua is truth. To deny truth is deny Yeshua. But that's why the other thing is practice. I love that line. You know, practice being in the truth. What does that mean? You're not always going to get it right. You know, that's how I read it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a never-ending
But it's
journey.
not to look at it through that filter of, oh, I missed it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, right and wrong, not look at through that filter, but be looking for improvement. I don't know, I get hard
Well,
to
you're
frame
looking.
that.
The improvement is it's an inner self-understanding of you and only you know at the end of the day what your current position is.
Right.
And so when you're faced with the truth, you and only you know how you react to it. And so it's about the path. It's not about the destination. It's about accepting life on life's terms as quick as possible. Because obedience brings the blessing. And so when I see that I fail, I say, hallelujah. May I strive to fail again. And when I see that I fail, I say hallelujah. And may I strive to fail again. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again.
What do you learn each time you do that?
That's it. And why can we watch a Tony Robbins video and have what he is saying align with exactly what we study in regards to God? And his intention is not to use or bring people to Yeshua or to God. His intentions are simply restoration in individual's life. It's what his passion is. Why is that?
It's truth.
Because it's truth. Because it's God in him. With the passion informing the decisions on who he's going to be and what he's going to be. And it's not about Hebrew or Jew or Baptist or black or white or this or that. It's not about any of that because it applies to everybody. Because we were all made by one God. There's only one God that creates. And as we've learned tonight, he creates to do.
It's like Rabbi said, the language for the earth was walk, not speak, walk, because you walk out the principles.
It's true. All right, we got to get through this. Read, somebody.
The word emet comes from a verb
Amen.
that means to support or make firm, and expresses the image of strong arms of a parent supporting the helpless infant. Truth stand in active relation to the one who is supposed to know it and carries the burden. so to speak, by the foundation of one's existence in creation. Of the 13 attributes of the Lord listed in Torah, 2 are joined together. The Lord is said to be Rav Chesed Ve'emet, abundant in loving kindness and truth, even in moments that challenge us in life. Therefore, he is also referred to as Dayin Ha'emet, the righteous judge, since he alone is the one to say what is to live, move, and have being in his creation. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet is a blessing of submission said at the time of bereavement for the Jew.
So, what's the juice there?
He alone is the one to say what is to live, move, and have being in his creation. Blessed is the righteous judge. He's
The Jews, for me, is the blessing of submission.
Abundant in loving
And that-
kindness and truth, even in moments that challenge us in life. So just that truth aspect in even a challenging situation.
It's the submission, acceptance of it.
Baruch Dayin, the righteous judge. Blessed is the righteous judge, is the blessing of submission. He's the results.
Right.
Well, that's that faith in him, to be able to see your tests and trials as blessings. It's ultimately saying that regardless of what happens to me in the physical and things happen to me, I know that my Creator has a plan that I may not understand, and I just have to walk this thing out to the best of my ability. That's what I get from it. I'm going through that right now. It's, and if you can come to a place where you can look at because we choose how we allow things, we react to things. And I choose if that's something that, if something happens to me, I choose how I react to it. I can say, for me, my life sucks. How did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Or I can look at it as a chance to grow. And this is really on point there. And saying, abundant in loving kindness and truth, even in moments that challenge us in life. Fire.
See, because when you know your position, based on where you came in, based on where you came into this understanding, this position, this first position of submission, you will be able to go back and see how He, through you, has overcome things that are impossible. So you have to love yourself before you can love God. You find God in that process. And so you have everything that you need today, provisionally. And so in that, you're able to see that I have been through this. God has overcome in me, through me, by my obedience, to overcome the impossible. So not only does it give you faith in Him, it gives you faith in you. Because when you act out in obedience, you are a representation of Him. Therefore, there is nothing that you cannot overcome.